Once a year, photographers from all over celebrate National Pinhole Photography Day, a day that calls attention to the magic of analog photography and the roots that have led us to where we are. Just as studying our ancestry and where we come from is important to understanding who we are, studying the history of the art forms we love allows us to understand the natural magic combined with brilliant minds that have allowed us to create the images we do today. This week, we are joined with a special guest who's here to share her knowledge and connection to the art of painting with light. In a world of AI, be an analog photographer. Welcome to Who Are You? Curious Stories of Family Lore. I'm Wietze.
I'm Taylor.
Surprise! We have a guest this week. This is episode 32. Don't quote me on that. I'm not a numbers person. Sam is not here this week. She is off on the yonder doing things in which I am unsure of at this moment. But we have Taylor here, and this week we were supposed to do part 2 of my grandma's episode, but it's kind of weird right now. I'm cleaning out some stuff and going through some things and of hers, and so I don't really want to do that episode. And also, today, it is Sunday, April 26th. I almost said August 26th. We are not in August yet. And Taylor and I were already hanging out today because today is...
It's World Pinhole Day.
Yeah. So pinhole, and this is a photography thing. So I don't know. I went to school for photography. That's Sam did too, and that's actually
Oh, we met.
yeah.
Yeah, through university.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Taylor messaged me earlier in the week and basically shared 2 different photo walks with me. And the photo walks are people love photography. They meet up at places and they go and they take pictures. And she shared with me the World Pinhole Photography Day photo walk where we met up at Mount Hope Cemetery in Rochester, which, if you don't know what Mount Hope Cemetery in Rochester is, pause. Googla, actually, or don't Googla. Search in whatever way in which you would prefer. I don't know how many search engines are out there nowadays. Drop them. Leave them. Let us know. Let us know how many. What search engine do you use that's not AI? Whatever you search with, that's not AI. I don't know if anybody that listens to this podcast knows my stance on AI, but once I found out I was accidentally using it to generate captions on my social media videos, I stopped doing that. And I stopped using that. So I don't like AI. Because I also feel like, as an analog photographer, this feels kind of reminiscent of like when digital photography became a thing. And then you had like analog photographers being like, no, not digital. And then digital kind of took over. You saw the same thing in animation. Hand-drawn cells became, computer generated. CGI then became 3D and so on and so forth. But then you have now this like AI situation that is like beyond, because with everything I just mentioned, you still have the artist. You still have the person. So yeah, do I prefer analog photography over digital? Most of the time. But I think there's a time and a place for everything. I teach digital art. Like, that is my main job. It's so bizarre. I work in a computer lab. I'm surrounded by computers all day. And then I go home and I'm currently trying to set up a darkroom in my basement, which you saw the chaotic astronaut sheets that are flowing down there. But Taylor has recently been helping me, I would say, like, get back into analog photography, truthfully.
Return to the physical.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I don't think I'd be setting up my darkroom with like such a I wanted to, of course, but like Taylor and I have some plans, which is why Taylor is a guest today. Surprise. We both like spooky things, which Mount Hope Cemetery, photo walk.
Pinhole.
Sounds
It all goes together. I mean, it's all spooky. It's all old, and it can't be generated. It has to be like. I mean, that was the whole point of it. You go out, you meet people in person, and you talk about photos, and you talk about what cameras you're using, and you walk around and you look at how the light and the shadows playing off the things around you.
and it's like a sense of community. I pulled out my Holga, so I brought a Holga pinhole camera, stereoscopic, and when I took that out of the bag, people like saw it and they're like, "Is that a stereoscope? Oh, is that you brought a Holga?" Like people were like, "Whoa!" And they came over to talk about the camera, to talk about their experiences using Holgas or other like pinhole cameras. Because if you are not familiar with photography, a Holga is like a plastic camera.
It's a toy camera.
A toy camera. I was
Yeah.
gonna say that, but it felt wrong for some reason. But yeah, a toy camera.
Diana's are toy cameras as well.
And those are, I like Diana's. They're like little, there's a little bit smaller. I've never had one. I've only ever had a Holga. But this one is stereoscopic, which means it has two lenses. And you were actually like explaining it pretty good to me. So do you want to talk a little bit about?
I mean, it's a pre 3D, like 3D animation technique to make a 3D effect. You put it in a vintage stereo viewer, and you hold it up to your face, and the way that your eyes and mind interpret the two images in front of you make it appear almost three-dimensional. And that's why the camera has two lenses, because it captures the same scene exactly at the same time, just right off, left to right to each other. And then when they're printed and mounted on a card for the viewer, it's the optical illusion that essentially is what we, modern 3D movies and things are like. It's the granddad of that.
Yeah.
If you want to look at it that way. But it's really, it's fast. I mean, I believe before, we also, the Bon Temps, I believe, I'm probably pronouncing that terribly, but it's
is it French?
Yeah, I think it's BONTON, but it's a 4-lens camera. It's the same thing, and that's how they made smaller tintypes or like carte physiques.
Okay.
That's how you got multiple in one setting.
I love that so much. So it's like you just click and then it's basically you make a print of that and they can cut them, right? And then distribute them out.
It's like very much school photos, how you get that page and you cut them down. It's the same thing, but it's
just with one single shot and it's done through the lens.
Yeah, and so, you could have 4 lenses. I think some could have 6. It really depends on who, the camera and the lens maker. But the Holga you had today, again, it was only 2, but that is what it is it's just you are capturing one scene twice to then present it in a way that the viewer then can see almost a 3-dimensional optical illusion.
And the way that they overlap, doesn't that like mimic your eyes too? Like your eyesight. So it's like lined up perfectly and that's what gives it that 3D effect. I feel like I remember, it's been a while since I've thought about like the history of photography, and like the things that we've been talking about recently have brought things back, and it's cool to rediscover like the things I loved so much in college and before, obviously, which all the things that led me to college, which that kind of leads me, we met up today for Pinhole Photography Day, and I wanted to pose the question when we started of what was your earliest memory of photography, which I am going to do. But before that, I wanted to just clarify for anybody who's not like super in like familiar with analog photography, just the basic mechanisms of how that works. So, like optical theory, essentially, very basically, what is a pinhole camera and how does that create a picture? So, imagine everybody, because you already know this, but they must not, might not. I should not, must not, might not. But those of you who do, it's basically a light tight box. Like you have a light tight box, you poke a hole in one side. And what's naturally going to happen, you're not in there, you can't see it, but what's naturally going to happen is an image that is opposite and upside down of whatever is on the like the pinholes looking at. So if you set the light tight box on a dock outlooking water and the pinhole is facing the water, that water is going to come through the pinhole because light is a moving force. It is never still. That light is going to funnel through that pinhole and it's going to bounce all around and back out that pinhole. But what it's going to leave behind is an imprint of the water upside down and backwards on that back wall. And Nicephore Niepce in France, and I can't remember where in France specifically, he discovered this phenomenon, or he didn't discover this phenomenon, excuse me. He utilized this phenomenon to create an image in his apartment overlooking the city.
Yeah.
Basically, like, maybe I'm misremembering, but didn't he make it his room into a camera obscura? But the picture, I think, is really small, though, so it had to have been in a camera. Nicephore Niepce. But I was thinking he made a camera obscura.
I imagine he did, because I believe they were using camera obscuras for painting.
Yeah, or
landscapes.
Camera lucindas.
Yeah.
They're more like the tents.
Yeah.
Because it's all the same, like, if you know what the light is going to do, then you can harness that. So if you're sitting in that room and it's completely dark, your eyes are going to adjust and you're going to see that image. So yes, painters or drawers, they just draw on the wall. Or you create a camera lucinda and you sit inside of it and you have your subject that you want to draw sit outside of the tent and you are looking through like basically binoculars, and the binoculars go up through the tent and out and they're looking, it's a tube essentially, so that you can see the thing that you're drawing, or the subject that you're drawing, and you can basically transfer that to the paper inside. So pretty cool stuff. All optical theory, but it's all connected to how cameras work and film specifically. And so that's what today is. The day that we're recording, Sunday. You're going to be hearing this, or whenever this is going to be posted on Monday. I don't know if you're going to hear it on Monday, but it'll be posted on Monday the 27th. Knock on. Looking around for anything wood. And I'm just going to mentally knock on that door over there. Knock, knock, knock. Knock, knock, knock. Oh, because everything's metal around here. Oh my gosh. Oh, here's this wood. Knock, knock, knock. Okay, we're good. I only knocked twice and you knocked the third time. Okay, we're good. Anyways, please excuse the interruption of superstition, but I'm a little bit superstitious because I just think, why not? Why not just be safe? Better safe than sorry, you know? So why not look both ways? What harm's that going to do before you cross the street? Just do it. Just knock 3 times, just in case. Just in case. So that's a little bit about photography, or optical theory, or pinhole photography. So that's the earliest knowledge I have of photography. What's not my personal, but what is your personal connection to photography, and what's your earliest memory with photography, whatever that question means to you?
So I've been thinking about, you asked me a little bit before we started, so I could start thinking about it. And I think the earliest cognitive memory I have of photography is an early trip my family took down to Roswell.
Ooh.
And I have this photo of myself sitting on my grandpa's shoulders, and the Roswell sign is behind us. And these pictures from this trip were in a big collage frame in my grandma's house in the living room.
Why do I love that so much?
Growing up, and it wasn't just that trip, but it was all the trips we took as a kid. Like, I had the picture of me standing with like a sombrero from going to Mexico and things. Like, I remember, like, I don't remember much of my life, but I remember looking at the pictures of my life, of my early childhood.
That's
and
why
like,
they're so important to have.
Yeah, and like, we would go through the photo book of my birth and things like that. So pictures to me have always been memories. And I think that's why I've always been drawn to it, because it's a way to never forget something.
Yeah. That's nail on the head. That's why I love photography so much. It's not necessarily for me about creating the perfect photograph. Do I want to at times? Yeah. Do I want to sit there and dedicate what it takes to know your camera and know your film and understand the temperature changes and the processing times, and to have the patience and the dedication to an art form is beautiful. But then to do that so that you can remember your life and those that you love and care about, or look back on things, it's honestly one of the most amazing abilities that is less than 200 years old. Like, people before 18, really, let's be honest, the public before 1900 in masses could not go out and photograph their life. They're lost to time. If you lived before photography was invented or discovered, but really invented because it is quite a process to produce, and it took a lot of hours of experimentation by many different people from all over the world to make it happen. But it's like, it's such a privilege that I think I do it almost as like a tribute to my ancestors, because I don't want to be forgotten and I don't want to forget them. And so I think, oh, if I photograph, like, every photograph that's taken is through the eyes of somebody who lived. Somebody was looking at something. And I think that's beautiful. You're seeing somebody else's past through their eyes for a moment. And I love, there was this one photo series I saw recently of like this woman's husband passed away, and then she got really sick and had to like move to a nursing home, and her children, adult children, found all their family film, like home movies, photographs, or whatever, and they were going through it, and it was just hundreds and hundreds of pictures of their mom taken by their dad from like their whole life and their whole life together. And it just was like, wow, it's the closest thing you're gonna get to like taking somebody's brain and uploading it to a computer and like living their life through their eyes. Like, you document it. And I think that for me, my memory is all over the place. Like, some days I remember really well, some days I don't. I don't remember my childhood. Like, really, like you were saying, I think you described it really well. It's like, as we get older, we don't remember small moments, but then a photograph might spark some sort of feeling, at least. Like, you remember looking at the photographs, but you might not remember living that moment. But man, to be like loved enough to have your photo and a collage on somebody's wall for them to look at every day is so, something about that that's like a dying art. It's something
The family album. It's going, and nothing against digital or storing things digitally or whatnot, but I myself do not sit. Maybe I do, actually. Now that I'm sitting here thinking, I do actually look through my photos on my phone quite often. But I'm intentional about that because I like the photos on my phone.
Yeah.
But I also, there is what I was trying to say, and that was just a bad point as I thought about it. There is something very special about sitting down and flipping through a photo book or holding a picture in your hand when you're looking at it. And
the object.
Yeah, and if it's created digitally, that's not an issue. Print your photos.
Right.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Print your photos, put them in frames, change them out with the seasons. You know, you don't have to have the same family photo up forever. Put a new one up. Keep the old one behind it, and then when you take it down, you have years of memories that you go through once a year that you can look back over. Oh, you remember when so and so had that haircut?
Yeah.
I love pictures.
Yeah. And if you don't want to hang them on your wall, then social media is kind of like, I feel like, destroying the photographic arts and like also the value of the photographs. We focus more on like the things we're doing as opposed to like spending time with the people we are with, kind of thing. And so to take the time to, yes, even if you're using your phone, photograph, and then you curate a set of photos essentially, and you take the time to either send them to get printed, set them up for printing yourself, print them yourself. No matter what, the effort to get pictures printed and framed or put into albums is a physical thing that you have to like dedicate your time to.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to dedicate much time at all to photograph on your phone and post it to social media, is what I'm getting at. That are saying like happy birthday posts, they're great, I guess. But you know what's even more great? A card in the mail, handwritten.
Mm-hmm.
What is that? Like, that is
I
like,
save all of them.
it's like, yeah, I love cards. And I'm going to shout out Bree right now because Bree, she lives in Los Angeles and she has sent me cards and things like just, and you don't have to send things to be a good friend, but every time she did, it was for just because, just out of nowhere. And it was handwritten, nice, like full intention, just because. And that is such a rare thing nowadays, to have somebody who just might be going about their life, something reminds you of them, and they feel the need, they feel the call, the love, or whatever it is, to send that to you, to take the time to write it, get a stamp, make sure they have your address. That's a big one. I ask for my friends' addresses all the time with the intentions of sending them things, and then it doesn't happen. And then you have somebody like Brie who she just does it. It's just who she is, and it's just like, we need more people like that. So shout out Brie. She's literally sunshine, and I tell her that all the time. She's literally sunshine. So, moral of the story is, I my first moral of the story is I love photography for the same reason. The memories. My earliest memory I have with photography, my grandma Bevy, which is my dad's mom. She's the subject of one of the earlier episodes. Um, she in her early life was an alcoholic. She was also abused when she was a kid, and she carried trauma to her adulthood and took a lot of things out on her kids. And I have to give her so much credit though, because she got sober late in life. So I never saw her drunk. And honestly, like, my memories with her are pretty good, pretty chill. Like, she's a pretty cool grandma. Like, taught me to make bread without measuring. She made it perfect every time. I don't know how. She literally would look at it.
It's magic. Bread is magic.
Holy cow.
I've known people, they just know by feel. They're like, yeah, that's how you do it.
And I'm getting there because I'm making it every week. I've been making bread every week with the same pan, same recipe since Christmas, since December. So, because it feels very like I'm carrying on a tradition, because both of my grandmas taught me how to make bread, and both of their moms taught them how to make bread. So it's just like from all angles, and that's just the maternal, or well, my maternal grandma, paternal grandma, but then my grandfather's mom was a baker too. So like there's a lot of bakers, but bread just, it feels very ancient. It feels very ritualistic, making bread. It feels primal. It feels like you're kneading it. You're watching the yeast rise. Like they're living things that you are using, you're feeding so that they can feed you. And it's just like this symbiotic chemical reaction of magic that if you mess it up, you mess it up. But when you do it right, it's just like beautiful. And I remember my grandma Bevy making bread with her. But my earliest memory of photography, because I could talk about bread all day. Get me on a tangent, I could have a whole day. I love making bread. But anyways, I remember it was my birthday and I was really little because I had just hit my head on the bottom of the dining room. So I was 1 or 2. I'm thinking 2 because I was walking pretty good and I have some like little bits and pieces of memory. And I remember I was on her lap and she puts a camera down in front of me and my birthday cake is there and there's a candle. So maybe I was 1. So I feel like it was 1 big candle. But I was, again, I don't know. I was 1 or 2. And she puts this camera down and she takes my hands and puts my little fat chubby hand on the shutter and she presses like and she's holding it underneath and she presses it down. We took a picture of my birthday cake. And I remember seeing that picture later on in an album of that birthday. But then in that album was a picture of us taking the picture. Somebody took a picture of me and her taking my first picture. They planned it. It was like a whole thing. And I'm just like, oh my God, I remember that. And like, so when I saw that, I was like, I love, and then that, like, I was just like, I love that I have been taking pictures since I was that little, technically. But that same grandma also gave me a Polaroid camera. And that Polaroid Sun 600. Still have it. It's fantastic. She was like, do you want this? I'm like, are you serious? Yeah. So she had no idea how cool that was. Just gave it to me. So, but that's my feelings on photography in general, is that it's all part of the documenting your life, but also like documenting things that happen. I used to read this, it was a literary magazine, but with a focus in like, and I cannot remember the name of it. It might have been the one on CU's campus, but there was like this little article in there that talked about how photography was being used on not camp, I don't think it was campus, but basically either in the city or on campus, because I don't know which one it was, but photography was being used for truth telling. Like it was like a statement of like, is photography art or is photography documentation? And this is like a pretty common argument that, or question that I feel like comes up a lot if you're, I guess, really into photography. Like I feel like I've had a lot of conversations in the photo community about the like what photography is, like if it's to document truth or if it's to document like to be an expression, a form of expression, and like the different versions of photography. But there was this, I'm getting to a point, I swear, it talked about how photography was foolproof, like you can't fake it really. And it talked about Photoshop and stuff at that time that was relevant. But now I think about that and I think about how, circling back to AI, AI can't mimic analog noise because it's digital, right?
I mean, it can make digital analog texture in theory, but all AI will ever be is a regurgitation of what is already made.
Yeah, but if you zoom in, because AI is always going to be on a computer, and computers, yes, I agree with what you're saying. I said but like I didn't, like I had a counterpoint. There's no counterpoint. Yes, and adding on to, because it is absolutely regurgitated bullcrap. It can't think for itself, but also it can't escape the fact that if it's generating images, those are raster based. Rasters are made of pixels. Pixels are square. When you zoom in, at a certain point, you're gonna see the edges of those pixels because a pixel is a defined size. So even if it's AI generated, has to generate pixels. I guess it could generate vectors, actually. It could generate vectors. I don't know enough about like AI generating because I don't do it, and I stay away from it because I don't want to drain water and steal resources from underprivileged communities who never agreed to have data centers set up in their areas, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Which is not what this is about, but holy crap, don't get me started. Um, I my argument would like my belief would be that AI couldn't replicate analog noise because it's rounded off. The only way that it could would be through vector, because vectors are basically like there's no pixels, they're scalable, they're made with numerical calculations that the computer spits out that we see as shapes and lines and colors and textures. So you said it could generate like potentially like the analog texture, and I think it would have to be a vector, but then you would know because it couldn't be a PNG or a JPEG or a raw file for a digital. So like what I'm saying is analog cannot be replicated by AI. Analog film noise without clear indications, even in like the file, because it couldn't, you can scan in your picture that you took and it's a JPEG, it's going to have pixels in there, but there's going to be, I don't know actually. Now I don't know. Somebody help me. Because somebody knows the answer. Somebody's listening and they're going, no, please tell us, email us, W the letter, R the letter, U the letter, WRU podcast@gmail.com, or message, Who Are You Podcast, Instagram, W. Oh my God. Why is this so hard to plug my own podcast? Who, the word, and then the letters R, and then the letter U. The word who, the letter R, the letter U, podcast on social media. Just find us there. Holy crap. Anyways, because I don't know. I always thought that was like a standing argument in my brain that you can't replicate analog noise on a digital device, and AI is digital. So I'm really curious if it can be, because I actually don't know. I'd like to. But yeah, happy National Pinhole Photography Day. Keep it analog. I'm just whispering things to Taylor, even though my mic is literally right by my neck, so I don't know if that was picked up. But yeah, so is there anything else that you want to talk about or say about photography? Because I could talk all day. That rhymed. Whoa.
I just think it's a medium that's accessible to anybody. Like, I talk a lot about this, through past jobs and other things, but everyone thinks you need the right tool, the right camera, the right lens, whatever. And my favorite saying is the right camera is the one you have with you. And if it's just your phone, take pictures with your phone. Learn how to manipulate the settings through the manual modes. It all translates when you want to try different processes or things, or maybe you want to move on to video, or you want to move into painting or sculpting. It's an art form, and don't get hung up on the paintbrush you're using, because a paintbrush and a camera are kind of the same thing. And when you want to take pictures, go out and take pictures. That's how you get better. Make mistakes. Underexpose your photos so you understand what's happening there. Overexpose your photos so you understand what's happening there. I don't know who said it, but one of my favorite quotes is "Learn all the rules so you can break them."
I've heard that, and was it Ansel Adams?
It could have been I In
Oh,
relation,
I thought you were asking, like, I assumed it was a
yeah,
photographer.
I'm not. I've heard it in relation to art. Like
Yeah.
that's why you learn, so
Hmm.
you understand why things interact the way they do. So then,
I say that to my students all the time. Like, first you have to, well, I say first you have to learn the rules before you can break them.
yeah, and that's it's
But you do learn them so that you can break them. Like, but in a different, in this context of
yeah,
like,
it's just
yeah.
you need to understand why. Everyone always says, "Is this a good photograph?" Or what should I take pictures of? Take pictures of things that move you, and a good photograph is what you determine it to be. If you want your entire series to be underexposed because you're using that to express something, that's intentional. And
Hmm.
I think that's kind of what you're getting at, kind in a way, with your feelings about AI, is the intent behind creating something with your hands with a camera that is a reflection of reality can never be recreated in the digital realm that is specifically artificial intelligence.
Yes. Yeah. So, in summary, exactly. It just, you can't. And I think the also like the optics too, like the way that images look, not just on film, but through certain glass, it's just a magical thing. When you get that image right, it's also like a labor of love to photograph analog on film, especially like large format, medium format, any playing around with multiple formats. But like you said, any it's accessible. You start somewhere. You just do it, but know that like to get good at it, you have to keep doing it
Mm-hmm.
over and over. You have to take a bad picture. You have to drop the effing camera a couple times. You have to. You have to lose a few rolls of film. You have to process your I have accidentally processed film in hot water and the emulsion has sludged off.
Yeah.
I poured the developer out and it looked like gelatin clumps. Black gelatin clumps went with it. And I was like, huh,
I should
that's
look into
weird.
why this happened.
So that's interesting. Very interesting. And then I was like, why is it steaming? And I was like, oh my gosh, I used boiling water. And at that time, I was getting into like color chemistry. And so I don't know, I think this was color chemistry that when that like sludged off, but I'm not totally sure. Because I do also feel like I have had emulsion sludge off of black and white too. Because I really did a lot more black and white film developing. Color I only did a few times because it's a different beast altogether. But um, yeah, so photography is something you're interested in. Just be on the lookout for something in the future that might be a little spooky, a little photography, little history, little adventure, probably some comedy. Just
It's amazing how much photography is present throughout every facet of life.
mm-hmm.
And we're gonna explore all the corners.
Yeah, yeah. So be on the lookout for that. That's a more information to come, but we just wanted to introduce Taylor to you guys and share some photographic knowledge on National Pinhole Photography Day. And if you aren't interested in photography and you stuck around anyway, thank you. And if you did not and you're not here right now, that's okay. It's all right. You'll be here next week, hopefully. Maybe you were here last week. That's all right. We're just appreciative either way. So, Pants will be back. She is a busy, busy, busy person. So she'll be back next week or the week after. We'll find out. But we didn't want to leave you hanging, and I didn't edit my grandma's episode all the way through yet because, I mean, we talked a lot, her and I, the interview that I'm going through right now. So 2 weeks ago now, so last week was an episode that Sam actually ran, and then the week before that was the episode about my grandma. And this episode right now is supposed to be part two of that. But kind of like the way that I see it is that episode, part two, will be done when it's ready. And it's kind of just something I'm doing in the back because it's very important. I don't want to just put it out just to be like, oh, here you go. It's my grandma and I talking. And I don't know how many more times I'm going to get to talk with her. So I think you guys understand that. You guys are here listening, and I think it's important to give you guys something different too. And Taylor is spooky. I like spooky things. That's kind of why I listen to podcasts. So I always wonder like how many people who listen to our like Who Are You are here for like the spooky tales versus like just the everyday kind of like less scary, just I don't even know, not even scary. Um we do like true crime most like that I would say is spooky, but I don't know. We'll see. Let us know. Let me know. Me and Sam, and you can let Taylor know too. I'll put your I am gonna tag you if you're cool with that.
That's cool.
So give her a follow. Uh, she takes amazing pictures, makes cool art in general, and is just an overall cool person.
I try to be cool.
Yeah, pretty cool. You know, pretty cool. Got cool hats.
I do.
Cool shoes all the time too, I noticed. Also cool jackets.
I like to look nice.
Jackets dapper. Got some jacket. Like I've seen you in some jackets.
I do. I like fashion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to step my game up. I'm literally gonna have to subscribe to one of those like boxes where they send you clothes because I'm gonna have to be like, oh no, Taylor's coming over. We gotta record because eventually we're gonna. Oh, I just gave something away. Oh, I'm gonna stop talking. But anyways, yeah, I'm gonna have to step up my game because I'm in Crocs and jeans right now, and Taylor has spider cats on her mustard yellow knit
It's
sweater.
delightful knitted sweater from Atomic. Something.
Why do I feel like I've heard of this brand, but I'm not sure because I want to say kitten, and I know that that's not right. It's just because there's a cat in her shirt.
Mischief Managed. It's not even Atomic.
There's
Mischief Managed.
See, I'm just gonna agree with whatever you said, I guess, because I do feel like Atomic something is a clothing brand. Atomic Tees, is that a thing?
It could be.
But you got that from what?
Mischief Managed or Mischief Managed. I'll send you the link.
Yes,
but yeah, it's delightful. It has little kittens embroidered with little bow ties, and I love it.
Little spider web.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Mustard yellow. Thanks for being here, fam. Any last thoughts from our guest here?
Go take pictures.
Yeah. Yeah, and you should take pictures. And go check out Taylor's Instagram. And come back next week. And never stop asking yourselves, who are you? Who are you, Taylor?
I'm a photographer.
Oh yeah, you are.